Hi kiddos, Ms. Leon here. Today's first few pages Friday, I'm going to read you the first few pages of Staying Fat for Sarah Burns. This is written by Crutcher. It's going to be in the C section of our classroom library, sorted by authors. Chapter 1. My dad left when I still had a month to go in the darkroom. And historically, when people have tried to figure me out, as in what went wrong, they usually conclude that my mom spoiled me, gave me everything I wanted because I had no pappy. Truth is, Mom thinks I'm a whole lot better off without that particular pappy, and has told me 1,000 times she's glad I had the good sense to stay packed away until he split. They were young. My mother was my age now when I was born, and so was my dad. I don't know very much about Dad, really. In 18 years, he's made no effort to contact me, and all I have is a picture. He's a college professor somewhere in the Midwest. Mom thinks in geology. She doesn't think geology is in the Midwest. She thinks that's what he teaches. The fact that he's excited about rocks hasn't had much genetic influence on me as far as I can tell. But what I see in the picture of him has. My dad is a tub of lard. At least he was at 18. I'm not talking about a guy who should have gone light on the desserts and between meal snacks. I'm talking about a guy who should have spread superglue on his lips before shoving his face outside his bedroom each morning. My dad could have sold his extra chins for marble stacks. And my mom is a fox. Really. Bona fide $100,000 silver pelt fox. She has dark brown hair and green eyes and this slinky, long, muscular body that she keeps in perfect working order, and I know for a fact half the kids who come by my house hope to catch her in shorts and a tank top. Christ, she's only 36 years old. Mom, I said one morning a couple of years ago, Dad's picture clutched tight in my beefy paw. Tell me something. Tell me why somebody who looks like you would fall for somebody who looks like this. I plopped the picture on the coffee table in front of her. Looks aren't everything, Eric, she said. His looks aren't anything, I said back, and he left them for me. She looked up and smiled. You look a lot better than your dad, she said. He was compulsive, ate all the time. You're big and solid. That's different. Big and solid as 12 pounds of mashed potatoes in an 8-pound bag, I said. If you dressed me up in an orange and red sweater, you could ride me around the world in 80 days. And you have a much better sense of humor than your father, she said, probably remembering Dad's high regard for rocks. Mom was never one to let me dwell on the parts of me I didn't like. My name is Eric Calhoun, and though I have spent hours in the weight room since that conversation, most folks call me Moby. My English teacher, Ms. Lemry, who is also my coach, sometimes calls me Eric the Well-Read, because I'm pretty smart. She also calls me Double E for Eric Enigma. I can't figure out exactly how you're put together inside, she says. You're a jock who doesn't compete in his best sport, a student who doesn't excel where his aptitude is highest, and you surround yourself with a supporting cast out of The Far Side. To each his own, I said, and pirouetted to tippy-toe out of the room in keeping with my image as Double E. If my belly button were a knothole, it would certainly be more congruous with my keg-like body. I have chiseled away at my father's genetic code since I realized I was better equipped to roll to school than walk, but the bare-bones me is still more Raymond Burr than Arnold Schwarzenegger. All of which wouldn't matter, but for the amount of time that my belly button is exposed, which approaches 4 hours a day. I'm a swimmer. I probably don't have to tell you, the Speedo people don't employ William Conrad as a fashion designer, and I therefore do not step onto the starting blocks looking like a Sports Illustrated fashion plate. Looks alone would be enough to keep most guys with my particular body design as far away from water as the Wicked Witch of the West. But swimming is a thinking man's sport, and Mrs. Lemry is the thinking man's coach. Besides, it keeps me far from the clutches of Coach Stone, who has been trying to get me to come out for wrestling since I was a frosh because he fancies me unbeatable as a heavyweight, which I very well may be. But the idea of a permanent gash across the bridge of my nose and mat burns on every pointed appendage does not appeal to me, no matter how many trophies I might walk away with. I'm not a great swimmer, but I'm good. A lot better than you'd think by looking at me. And I like the challenge of the clock, as well as the people involved. I also like the wake I create for the guy in the next lane. We're 8,000 yards into the workout. Lemry's whistle blasts. Let's wrap up 25 yards, all out, 5 breaths. 5 breaths, no sweat. 25 yards, she yells, 2 laps later as we pull ourselves onto the deck at the far end. All out, 3 breaths. The oxygen bill is in the mail. 25 yards, all out, 2 breaths. Serious oxygen debt begins. 25 yards. Did I say all out? 1 breath. The whistle. 25 yards. Anyone hear me say all out? No breaths. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, we're almost there. The whistle. Oxygen debt approaches bankruptcy. 25 yards, no breaths. Flip your turn and come back far as you can. Last one, people. If darkness closes in on you or you hear the voice of God, come up. We hyperventilate so hard we can barely hear her instructions, though any one of the 20 of us could recite them rote. I hit the water almost full bore, backed off enough to keep from thrashing. At 15 yards, I feel the tightness in my lungs, and I back off the cadence, maybe a half beat, swallowing to give my body the illusion of breathing. I reach the far wall, tucking tight for maximum push-up, blowing only enough air to keep a chlorinated flash flood out of my sinuses, and go for it. In 3 years, no one on the team has outdistanced me at this drill. Mark Britton says it's because I have a blowhole. But Mark is often intentionally unkind. It's because I know how to be mean to myself. I swim distance freestyle. I'm within 3 strokes of the wall when my head pops out of the water like a marker buoy and a reverberation erupts out of me that would normally bring paramedics. Darkness crowds the edges of my peripheral vision, but I clutch the lane rope and suck in air like an industrial strength shot back. Someday, I'll make the full 50 yards. I can do it easily, fresh, but not at the end of a 3-hour workout. Good job, Mobe, Coach hollers from across the pool. You'll never be extinct with that attitude. I stand in front of the huge double doors at the entrance to Sacred Heart Hospital and breathe deep, my frozen hair hugging my head like a bicycle helmet, and my breath shooting down from my mouth like an exhaust truck. I wear only a light jacket. My internal heating system boils for hours after workout. Coach forever tells me to cover up when I go outside, but when I cover up, I sweat like a walrus in a sauna. I threaten Coach with my laundry. Sarah Byrnes is inside. 8th floor, Child and Adolescent Psychiatric Unit. I've put this off. Thought she'd be out in a couple of days, but it's been a full week. Sarah Byrnes. Toughest kid I know, and she just slipped away. I don't want to go inside. I was here once, about 4 years ago, when my 3rd cousin got drunk and attempted suicide. Not much of an attempt, really. He OD'd on Flintstone vitamins, but he was wigged out so bad they stuck him in for a 72-hour observation. What they observed was extremely yellow pee. I hated visiting him. The place itself was nice, thick carpeting and comfortable chairs, plenty of books to read and games to play. It felt safe in a strange way, not for me, but for the people in there. But they all had a look, as if something important had been peeled away. And you got the feeling it could happen to you. Now Sarah Byrnes is here. My best friend. I stayed fat a whole year for her. I pushed through the double door entrance, passing the information desk on my left, following the carpeted corridors to the bank of elevators where one stands open and empty. I push 8 and turn around to lean against the back when I hear, "Hold!" and see a familiar face. A nameless kid from school pushing a cart of linens toward me. I lunge for the row of buttons on the wall, intentionally pushing closed door, but appearing for all the world as if I'm trying to hold it open. Oops, I say as the doors come together. I don't want company. I don't want to explain who I'm here to see or what happened to her. And that's it. This is page 6. Come find it in the library, waiting for you.